Hello, it's Rebecca from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Papermaze, so this does class as an advertisement. For October I'm working with the Simple Stories Bucru collection. This is the second layout I've made with it and I'm loving it, and this entire layout was inspired by the patterned paper you just saw, the black with all the white writing on it. It's called Cast a Spell. And there was this one section about skeletons that really jumped out at me, and I knew that my son had this skeleton tracksuit and I thought we must use these photos. So I staged a little photo shoot in our living room with all our pumpkins, and I say all because we've got 16 of them. I do like Halloween and I do go a bit all out for it. So we had this little photo shoot purely so I could use the writing from that page. I've gone with a black background today. I thought it's quite apt for Halloween, and also because the white bones on my son's tracksuit really pop off the page against the dark background. So we've gone with black textured basil cardstock, and for the top half I've torn a section from the Treat Yourself patterned paper. Just torn it roughly with the white edge showing, again just because the white matches up with the tracksuit and just pops off against the black. As it happens, I end up covering up most of that white tear, but my intention was to have it there on purpose, but yeah, as with most things with scrapbooking, it got covered up. I've mounted my photos onto black cardstock and then again onto white, and that's just to help them pop against that black background. So I'm going to have my photos over to the left there, and then I'm going to have the section of writing to the right coming down the page. And you can't really read it on camera there, but it reads, "The skeletons are out tonight, they march about the street with bony bodies, bony heads and bony hands and feet. Bony, bony, bony bones with nothing in between. Up and down and all around, they march on Halloween." How awesome is that? As soon as I read it, I was like, right, must use this. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want the placement. I know I definitely want that, I'll call it a quote. I want it going down the side of the page there. So I was just trying to use some of these tags. These tags are absolutely brilliant, and I really want to create a layout that showcases them, but I'm still trying to figure something out. So for now I'm just using them behind my photos. So I've just been through them and picked a couple out there that I thought match. And now I'm going through the bits and pieces ephemera pack, just picking out things that I think can work. Got a couple of skeletons, loads of pumpkins and the stars. I pull out the haunted house set purely because we were at home when we made these photos, so I thought the house fit quite well. We're not likely to go to a haunted house over Halloween, so why not use it on this layout? So I'm just cutting the corners of those tags off and punching the hole through. I've got some divine twine. It's a Halloween twine that's white, black and orange, matches this collection perfectly, that I'm just going to thread through those holes. So I've used the edge of my scissor blade just to distress the edges of the tags, just to tie in really with the fact that I tore that patterned paper across the top and gave it a distressed look. So I'll just continue the distressed look throughout the layout. I've added a layer of craft foam behind each of my photos to add a bit of dimension. I generally do this with every layout. I like my photos to stand out a bit more from the page. And I just stick that pattern paper down with double-sided tape across the top of the page. I know my photos are definitely going to sit on the left-hand side here, so I stick those down straight away, and I know the quote is going to go down the right there, so I just spend a bit of time trying to decide how I want to place them, whether I want them to overlap the photo or not. In the end, the first few overlap and the rest just sort of sit to the side and underneath the photo. I want to use these skeletons from the bits and pieces pack. The trouble with the female skeleton is her arms stick out quite far, so it was trying to fit her in there and get the quote on. So in the end I swap her out with the boy skeleton. I'm just going around just sticking bits down and trying to figure out where I want things. I've used a couple of bits of ephemera, the two larger pumpkins, and then those smaller pumpkins there have been fussy cut from the Hey Pumpkin patterned paper that I used on my last layout. I had a small section left that I've kept so I can fussy cut those pumpkins and add them in. I've just placed them around the bottom of the photo because that's where the pumpkins are. He was sat in amongst all of our pumpkins. So I've just sort of tried to recreate the scene on the page with all the pumpkins underneath the photos. So I'm just adding my twine in there, and I just double it over and thread it through the hole and then just sort of pull it, and that ties it off nicely. And I'm working back on these skeletons. These skeletons cause me no end of headache on this layout. They move around several times, I faff a lot. In the end I decided that the ivory skeleton with the white border wasn't really showing out enough, so I've used a black pen and gone around all the bones and the edges, and I'm much happier with how they look now. I feel like they're a lot more visible and they stand out a lot more on my layout. And as you can see, I've swapped them out, so I've now got the boy skeleton to the right there and the female skeleton down to the left. Now she doesn't stay there. There's lots of skeletons in this collection, and that's why I thought these photos were perfect. So I literally went through the ephemera pack, the stickers and the chipboard stickers and pulled out every skeleton or skull I could find. And I try and get them all on the page, which looking back was a bit mad, but I do try. So I've also pulled out a skull there with a little frog sat on his head. I've put that to the top left of my photos. He definitely wants to stay because we love frogs. My little boy was born breech and his legs were all sort of bent up like a frog when he was born. So he's always had the nickname Froggy. So because there's a frog on that skull, he has to stay. I've just added in a chipboard piece there to the right of my photos. A little pussycat sat in a pumpkin, which I thought was quite apt because my little boy sat on the pumpkins. There's also those two chipboard skull heads. You've got female and male skull heads there. I originally thought I'd try and put them on top of the ephemera pieces so that they had kind of like a 3D dimensional face, but they were slightly smaller than the ephemera, so it didn't really work. So I've just popped them to one side for now, and I'll come back to trying to find them a home in a minute. So here's where I bring in one of the sticker skeletons. I've stuck it to a piece of scrap card and cut it out just so that I can move it around because I'm still very undecided. And I'm looking at myself screaming, put the skeletons down, because there's just too many skeletons here and I'm trying to get them all on the page. Just put the skeletons down. Now I'm drawing around the black one. I put that back up there, and then I'm going to come back and faff some more with these female skeletons, and in the end you see I just throw the female one away, chuck her up to the top because she's causing me too much headache. So we stick the male one down and then we'll come back to the female one in a bit. I know my male skeleton is definitely going to sit up here, so I get about sticking him down. I've used sticky glue on the bottom and foam pads on the top, and then I go through each strip of the quote and add foam pads behind and stick them down. And in a minute you'll realise that I notice they are not straight. They are slanting down to the right, and I have to pull them all off and line them up with my T-square ruler and start again. Yeah, I really should just hold my layouts up more and have a look at them as I'm doing them, and I would have noticed, but never mind, you live and learn. Easily fixed. I just pull them up and reattach. So all bar the female skeletons, I'm happy with the placement of most of the other elements. Oh, here's my little skeleton coming in to help. So I set about sticking everything down with either PVA, tacky glue or foam pads. The chipboard piece here, I use glossy accents to stick down because I find that holds chipboard much better. Sometimes PVA glue, it just doesn't hold enough, and then you get your albums out in like a year's time and find all the chipboard pieces sat in the bottom of the page protectors where they've come off. So glossy accents is brilliant and really sticks. So that bit I just skipped through there was me just straightening up my quote, and here I go with the skeletons again. I've also got there that black and white tag that's also got another skeleton on it that I really wanted to get onto the layout but couldn't. Oh look, snack time, sorry about that. I really wanted to get that tag onto the layout. Again, another skeleton. I'm just screaming at myself again, just put it down. He doesn't make it onto the layout because it was just one too many skeletons, so as lovely as he is, he'll have to go on another layout. So I'm still really undecided on that female skeleton, so I just made the decision, just stick one down, and then it's stuck down and it's too late to think about it. Just stick one and move on. So we picked the small skeleton, we've got the small girl, and I've also stuck that haunted house down with a couple more. Oh god, here we go again with the skeletons. I'm just kicking myself here. So I put some little pumpkins down, and it looks like I'm still trying to get that big female skeleton onto my layout. Oh, skeletons, what am I doing? So this little skeleton, I decided she also needed some black outline around her bones, the same as the big one, so I've just drawn around her. Oh, hopefully this is the last time I faff with this skeleton. She's on, she's off, she's on, she's off. I think I finally just got rid of her. She doesn't make it onto the layout, she does stay off, thankfully. My title, I'm going to use this small piece from the ephemera pack. It says, "'Tis the season to be spooky." And again, I just thought, just to tie it in and make it pop off the page a bit more, I'm going to go around the outline in black. The "'Tis the season to be" part was in quite a light grey font and you almost couldn't see it. So I've gone over that with a black pen as well. At this point I wasn't too sure if I wanted that to be my title because it is quite small, and I thought about adding a bigger title at the top, but in the end I decided there's quite a bit on the page by the time I finished, so we go with that small piece as the title. So I've also added, I've got a few star pieces there from the ephemera pack, and what else have we got? Oh, the chipboard, I've got some laser cut chipboard pieces there. One that says "Mischief and Mayhem," which we certainly had trying to do this photo sheet, and the other one says "Spooky." They're by Dusty Attic. It's wordplay number 6, those are from the set. And again, the same as the other chipboard pieces, I stick those down with glossy accents. I've added some thread tangles behind them. So the "Mischief and Mayhem" at the bottom has got an orange tangle, and I put the "Spooky" up at the top with some black thread behind it. Someone asked me recently if I do my thread tangles in any particular way. The answer is no. I'm not very good at doing them, and I'm very rarely happy with how they come out. So it is just a case of trial and error, but I kind of thread it through one hand into the other whilst pinching it, trying to sort of wrap it round into circles, but not. I might have to do a slow motion video at some point to show how I do them, but I generally have to do them 2 or 3 times before I'm happy with them. It's just a case of trial and error. Oh, this is me messing around. My little boy stood next to me, so it's me messing around with those chipboard skulls, putting them over his face. Don't worry, they're not going on the layout. This is me again, just trying to decide if I wanted to use one of these thickers. These from the Spooky collection by Pebbles. Just trying to see if I want to use one of those for my title, but I can't really find one that fits nicely or that I like the font of, so I put them down to one side. And this is the Boo Crew sticker sheet, and I've just picked off 3 stickers, one that says "Love your costume," one that says "Fabulous," and one that says "Wicked good time." My little boy and I are playing with those little chipboard skulls. He keeps putting them back on his face now, bless him. So first of all, I put those 3 phrase stickers to the right of my photos, but I'm not happy with them there, so I peel them back off and, oh bless him, look at him. I peel them back off and move 2 of them down the bottom here, and I raise those up onto foam pads. And I think that is me done. Oh bless him, he's helping me. Still trying to get those skulls back on my layout. Yep, so that is me done. So thank you very much for joining me today. Please head over to the Papermaze website where you can get the collection and all the other Halloween stuff. I hope everybody has a fantastic Halloween on Saturday. We'll certainly be trying to make the most of it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and again, thank you very much for joining me. So I'll see you next time. Bye.